Guys, how are we doing? It's really great to be back after 2 weeks away. I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into these shows again. Really looking forward to delivering and hopefully offering you a huge amount of value. So it's great to be back in the helm. Maybe a little top heavy, maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit more consumed than I probably normally would be, but I'm going to slowly get back into routine. This morning the alarm at 4:15 in the morning was a real shock to the system, but we're ready to go. So let's get into the show. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Boardman, and if you are coming through, then please do let me know either by hitting the comments button, either hitting our love heart button, or commenting the best part of your summer so far. So what is the best part of your summer so far that's happened? What's the one standout thing that you have seen? Man, what a 10 days. We had a great time with the family. You know, when we went away with the family, this is our first holiday since 2019, like many people, right? And the main thing that I wanted from this holiday was connection, right? Connection with my family and my wife. And I wanted to completely be teetotal away from the business and the man coach and my business and my other businesses as well. And that's what I got, you know. I feel really refreshed mentally and emotionally. I definitely learned a lot about myself on holiday. Do you know what I mean? I definitely reflected a lot about the last year and possibly 2 years, and reflection through COVID and everything. And it's quite scary that it's the first time that I've stopped and allowed myself to step out and actually do that and actually go, right, like, where's my life at? Do you know what I mean? And I think there's something we should all do. And I'm going to share with you, just some of my key reflection points that may resonate with you. Some are more confessions and just things that I want to say and talk about. Like, you know, if you're interested, you listen. If you're not, you won't. So, for me, I'm an obsessive perfectionist, and I've finally admitted it. My wife is my counsellor, my therapist, and I'm obsessive and a perfectionist, and both absolutely hold me hostage to my happiness. And I'm obsessive and a perfectionist in my business and in my work. And I have to have barriers and rules to make sure I don't completely consume myself in entrepreneurship. And any entrepreneur or any business owner or any busy professional will understand that. And I would consider myself a thriving individual who's always looking to achieve, always looking to make a huge impact in men's lives, and on their families' lives. I don't just do it because I want that man to be a better man. I want that family to be a better family. Okay. I want that person who is in a relationship and has children that depend on him and has a wife that depends on him. I want that family to be stable, happy and thriving, not just the man. And I become obsessive with that and a perfectionist, I think, because I grew up without having a complete family. And my dad died when I was 6, as many of you know. And I think my obsessive nature comes from that incident, and that perfectionist in me comes from that situation and has gone through my childhood, not really dealing with it, but actually looking at other guys thinking, man, I'm obsessed about trying to get you forwards, right? And along some of the time, that obsessiveness and that perfectionist completely breaks down my barriers that I set myself and the rules that I set myself to allow myself to step out of that pot and become dad and become husband and connect. And there's been times over the last 4 or 5 months, in fact, if I'm honest, this year, where that's broken down. Okay, and that's because I didn't really have my own accountability, as in I wasn't fully engaged in my own accountability with the mastermind I'm in terms of my own personal development, and I've put things in place to rectify that. But being able to step out for those 2 weeks on holiday allowed me to look at myself in the mirror and answer some questions very honestly. So I think it's I think it was a really game changer for me, and I can see some of you writing obsession or passion, and I think obsession is not being able to put passion down. And I think when you're constantly passionate about something, it's great. There's nothing wrong with it, but when it starts holding you hostage to seeing the other side of life, i.e. being a dad, being engaged, being connected, it then becomes a problem and an issue. And that's when I think it becomes an obsession. An obsession, I don't always feel is the healthiest thing. And I mean, you could debate on that forever, right? The second thing is that I'll be completely honest with you. I think in the last 4 months, I've slightly slipped in terms of falling out of love with what I do, but still being passionate. Now, let me explain that. When men don't show up, when they decide to take the plunge to come into my world and work with me on a program, we can only do so much. There's only so much we can do. I mean, we have a very high level of accountability and follow-up system in terms of making sure that lads are showing up, okay? Making sure that lads are getting the best out of their life, making sure that they're being the husband they need to be, the father they need to be, being a top professional in terms of their performance as well. And an awful lot of lads are moping around in this little victim mentality, not showing up and not doing what they said they were going to do. And that is draining. That is it is draining. And I'm going to be honest with you. And when I am doing everything, we and the team and everything, and we're doing everything possible, and we're trying to please everyone, we're trying to get everyone up and running, one of the things I've come to accept is that I'm not going to save everybody. That not everybody is going to go through our programs 100% and be the man that I want them to be. And I think over the last couple of months, that drained me so much emotionally. Because I kept on thinking, what am I doing wrong? What are we doing wrong? Where are we missing where are we missing it? Where are we not capturing these guys? How are we not getting them to the place that we want them to be? And I think sometimes I think my wife said it, and she said, you can't drag a horse to water. It has to go there to drink. And she's so right. And it made me think about the whole of my business model and the way that I'm super opening up here, and think about the way that we bring in people. And that is going to dramatically change over the next 6 months, because we're not just going to let anyone in anymore. We're only going to let committed guys in. You're going to have to go through a process to work with us, because I want to work with lads that want to work, right? Who want to put the work in. Not guys who are complaining all the time, who are making excuses all the time, because there's only so many times I can kick somebody up the backside and say, dude, how many opportunities do you need to have before you realise that you're wasting your life, or you're drinking your life down the drain, or you're not showing up? There's only so much you can do, right? And I think that was massively affecting my mental health and my emotional health and my happiness with doing this job. And I lost sight of it, because I've got to make sure we're bringing the right guy in, and I enjoy my job, and I enjoy the people that we work with, and they want to show up, right? They want to be a better husband. They don't want to be fat anymore. They don't want to moan and complain and drink anymore. There's got to be some element of passion from the other side, right? Otherwise you start getting a piece of wood and start banging your head against it. So it made me reflect a lot about myself, and understanding that you can't help everybody. Not everyone is going to be saved. That it's just one of those things. And it was really great. It was a really nice moment for me to really understand that and that it wasn't me. Do you know what I mean? I realised that there are 3 triggers that are massively affecting my insecurity. I've almost have a 3rd book in here about insecurity. I am a massively insecure person, and again, this stems back to when my dad died. And when he died when I was 6, I think it had a huge impact on my life, because I never really dealt with it. I never really went to therapy as a kid. I don't think my mum, I know my mum never dealt with it. So obviously, because she didn't deal with it, I didn't. And it's always this thing of when's the next bad thing going to happen, all right? So that's what's in my mind. When is the next bad thing going to happen? And I look at all of the major things, and I constantly, there's two things that I majorly have gone through recently, which you would have no idea about until I'm telling you. When we moved into our new home last year, I instantly thought we were going to lose the home, because I instantly thought the business was going to crumble. And I'm always waiting for that next bad thing to happen. I'm waiting for every single one of my clients to walk out the door, okay? I'm waiting for all of my clients to disappear. I'm waiting for the man coach to go bust. I'm waiting for me to not be able to pay my mortgage again. And if you have followed me, you'll know that my story was very much like, you know, when I left the military and then I started working for myself, I had we got the first repossession notice in. So I've got these things in my head, these triggers, right? So the first one very much being my dad dying, you know, major loss. And I'm like, oh my God, when's the next bad thing going to happen? And I was always asking my mum, is everything going to be okay? Is everything going to be all right? And those things have carried through with me through life. And I'm constantly needing self-reassurance, like, is everything going to be okay here? Is everything going to be all right? When's the next? And I constantly have been working on myself. But three main triggers that really do that is social media, the news, and actually porn. Those three elements, those three things really affect my mental health. And the news is just full of worst case scenario thinking. So that triggers my insecurities of when's the next bad thing going to happen, you know. And that doesn't help, that doesn't fuel. Insecurities in terms of not being good enough for my wife comes from porn. And then social media makes me doubt myself. And when I look at those things, I think to myself, why am I still doing them? Why am I still consumed in those things? So again, I've taken action to make sure I no longer will consume social media, okay? I will no longer do it. I will no longer do any more scrolling or go through. I will do my content. I will put it out for you guys, and that will be it. I've deleted all news apps. I've deleted any way that I can know, any possible way. There could be a World War III and I wouldn't even know. So I'm not even going to look at the news. And I've banned myself from porn. Like, for the rest of this year, I am not going to look at porn at all. Do you know what I mean? So there are three major changes that I feel like I hope they're going to make a difference to my own insecurities, right? Which will make me feel mentally and emotionally better. The other thing was that I was thinking is that, and I was talking to a great lad on holiday, this Welsh lad, absolutely loving it. And the way that we connected is that he had a David Goggins book, and he was like this solid looking guy, and I went, great book, right? And we got chatting, and he might even be watching here now, and he started following us and the man coach, and I think he bought the books. Always marketing. And we were talking about people forget that they're going to die. Like, it sounds dramatic, but you, me, when we get consumed in life, you forget that you're going to die. I did a bit of maths this morning, and in 27 years, I'm going to be 70. And I worked out that that's something like 9,400 days. Like, that's not a lot, right? Even if I make it to 70. And I worked out it was something like I think something stupid like 1,400 weekends. Something around that. And because we forget that we're going to die, we think we have an epiphany of time. We think we have like endless amounts of time. Okay. And because we think we have lots and lots of time, we put things off over and over and over and over again. And I was talking to Taffy, this Welsh lad, and he was like, 100%, like, all I do is come back and I watch Netflix, or we come back and we make excuses, we come back and we complain, we come back and we like manifest in our own, like, I don't know, BS. Do you know what I mean? And one day we're going to wake up and we're going to realise that there is no time left to do the things that we wanted to do, to be the man that we wanted to be. You're going to realise that your kids have got to an age where they no longer require you. They no longer want to go and do Disneyland, or they no longer want to go down the shops with you, or go down to the park with you, or reconnect with you. You're going to one day maybe wake up and your wife's left you, because all you've done is consumed yourself with work. Like, this is like, it is like insane, right? And I'm realising the older I get, I'm 44 in 3 months, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm looking at my kids, they're looking older. I'm looking at Darcy, she's 13 months already. And people are we are blind to the fact that we are going to be dead. Like, I'm 44. Like, if I'm 74, great. If I'm 74 and have no diseases, no cancer, I don't know, no neurological issues, no brain issues, then I'll be winning. But like, in the blink of the eye, we can be gone. Things can change. I can be told that I've got something, and that's me on a different path. And then I wish I would have done more when I had more energy and I was more able. And it made me realise that, life is so short. And it led me on to my last point of reflection. I've really gone on this morning, so I appreciate you being patient. It's connection. The only thing that matters, on this planet, to me, is the connection I have with my family. Like, don't get me wrong, I love you guys. Like, I love my job. It's my passion. But one day, I won't be doing this. One day, I will stop working. And beyond that will be my family. And the connection with my family and my kids and my friends is absolutely key to my happiness in this life. And that's all that matters. Do you know what I mean? That is literally all that matters, is nurturing those relationships. And it should be for you guys. And making sure also that my health and me and my mental health comes first. Every single time. Because what I say to you guys is that if you don't put yourself first, then those connections break. Then your fitness breaks. Then you become overweight. Then you become mentally unhappy, emotionally unstable. And then you start wasting time complaining, complaining, being in a God, what's the word, James? You end up complaining, being in a feeling sorry pity party. You end up being in that pity party. You don't have that time to waste. We just don't have that time to waste. So that's my reflections. They're my reflections. I hope they're beneficial to you. I'm going to be making, I sound the old cliche coming back from holiday, making major changes, but I think that's because I've made major reflections. They're major reflections. And, I'm going to do something at every quarter, at the end of every quarter, for like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to take myself away and I'm going to do something with the family. And I'm going to make sure I do that regularly to keep on top of these reflections, to make sure that my self-awareness is up here, and make sure I'm checking in with myself more and nurturing myself more and giving myself some more space and not being so hard on myself. And you should do the same. All right, so let's get to work. We've got a busy couple of months leading up to Christmas. Yes, I said the Christmas word, and I want to make sure I get as many of you right and in the right frame of mind as possible. All right, thanks for listening.